Hello, everybody. Jean Henderson Pierre, the Beer Rambles. But tonight we're doing wine, and we have Carlos Rossi Chambly.
Chambly.
Sorry, Chambly. And joining me now to review this, as you can see, I take a dent. I've already took a dent in this already. Joining me now, Ronald J. Terrio, Louisiana Beer Reviews, and John Annealy, of course, from Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, you can see his channel, John Annealy, on YouTube as well. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
Hey, John. Good to be
Good,
here.
good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, lately I have been on a wine kick for whatever the reason, and just something about it. I don't know why. Maybe the holidays, or maybe Jay, maybe you might have influenced me in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. In living room. Yeah. So dining room. I mean kitchen. Sorry, guys. Um. So so I've been doing a lot of wines that I've been sampling, sort of maybe being reintroduced again, like the Riuniti, like the Carlos Rossi, Livingston wines that I've had here and there, but not on a consistent basis. So, so Jay, I blame you for getting me back on wine. So that, which is a good thing. So if you can, Jay, give us the info on Carlo Rossi, and also info on the Chambly.
Well, first of all, let me mention that Pabst Brewing Company settled their dispute with Miller.
I read that today. Yes.
As the jury was deliberating. Okay. Carlo Rossi is a company, and you're echoing a little bit. It's a company that they say it's really not a company. It's part of E&J Gallo Winery, and it was established in 1975. But if you read the website carefully, it was really established in 1962. So if you look at the website, they say, our wines began in 1975. But really, it was in 1962 with Carlo Rossi Red Mountain Ale, a Red Mountain a wine. But we don't make that anymore, except it's still on some of the labels, depending where you buy the wine. So it really goes back to 1962. And what happened was he worked for the company, and he married one of the E&J daughters. So if you marry one of Ernest and Julio Gallo's daughters, then you get to have your own wines division. All right.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Family.
And so he did his thing, and you saw the commercials maybe on TV for years, and then they stopped doing them because he got so old. He died when he was 90, and but it still made Carlo Rossi, and I have this 4,000 milliliter bottle that I got for $14.98, 10.5% alcohol. His name is Charles Rossi, but I think they tried to make it sound more Italian. So they decided, oh, Charles, we're going to call you Carlo. And he said, oh, yeah, okay, I'm Carlo.
Yeah. I paid for my bottle $10.95 at the Greer's Cafe, which is, of course, you know, the Pay for More store. I'm sure you know that, Jay, very well.
Yeah, but I've reevaluated that because I didn't understand how that worked at first, but now I understand it because, you want me to explain that real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a store here in this town called Lishman's City Market. And Lishman's tried to be like an above premium store, but this town doesn't have enough money to really support that. So they rebranded it as Food for Less. Still owned by the Lishmans, and it was a plus 10% store.
Right.
But I was like I said, this is food for more, food for even. What is this adding 10% at the register and all of this? But they explain it now, and so does Shoppers Value. There's another one on the west bank of the Mississippi River that you can get really good deals. That's where I found that the Richard's Wild Irish Rose Moscato. But they said what they do is everything in the store is at cost. The price you see is what they paid. So if you see a can of Vienna sausage for 63 cents, they paid 63 cents. And no matter what the item is, they add 10% to it. Whereas most grocery stores add 25 to 30%. So initially they would lose money and not make it, but the way the strategy works is that they'll sell a lot more stuff, you see, and they'll recoup the loss. And that's what that 10% add-on is. It's their cost plus 10%. So I can actually get beer cheaper there. Like I can get a 6-pack of pint cans. This is a true story of Milwaukee's Best Ice for $4.28 after the add-on.
That's not bad.
Yeah, nobody can touch that in this town.
Do you also hear an echo from me?
No.
Okay.
So that's the explanation of those cost plus. And I think I was just not understanding the concept because it wasn't explained to me. Now, back to Carlo Rossi Chablis. Want me to? I can do this in less than 1 minute. Want me to read what the website says?
Go right ahead.
Chablis is a semi-dry and light-bodied white wine with a crisp, light taste and flavors of ripe pear. It's really a grammatical error here. Can be enjoyed with grilled seafood, pasta dishes, or salads. Did you know another wine that Carlo put his unique spin on? Chablis is an old world style from France. Traditionally made with Chardonnay grapes, the wine is light-bodied and semi-dry with subtle hints of tree fruit. And then there's a where to buy it, which does work, unlike the Livingston Cellars.
Right.
Suggested recipes, shrimp skewers, and then they give you the recipe. If you click on it, they'll tell you how to make the shrimp skewers. And I have even more exciting news.
Right.
I bought the Carlo Rossi White Zinfandel for an upcoming event. White Zinfandel, if anyone's interested. I don't know if anybody is.
Let me know when. I'll be there.
I've never tried it.
So, John, give me your thoughts on Carlo Rossi and the Chablis, and your thoughts on the wine.
All right. I think I heard. Okay. So the Chablis, I've had just this bottle. I'm working on my first bottle. We did the examination on Jay's channel, and then I did a solo review. So I've had 2 or 3 glasses so far out of the bottle. And I typically like sweeter wines, red wines, and I've only had a few of the white wines, but the ones that I've had have been pretty good. This one just has a very strong grape skin smell. It doesn't smell like it's going to be too sweet, but then once you get into it, cheers, guys, by the way.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Once you get into it, you get that grape skin, but you get a nice sweetness to it. There's like some of the pulp. You're getting the actual pulp of the grape. Kind of like Welch's white grape juice. Anybody's ever had Welch's white grape juice? It has a lot of that flavor profile, but it's not as sweet. And then of course the finish is pretty dry. But this is, I guess, more of what you might call like a semi-sweet wine. It's got some good sweetness to it, but it's not as sweet as a lot of the red wines that I've had. And my first thoughts, really, when I drink this, are that the wine is very enjoyable. It's pretty light, so you could drink a few glasses, I think, and not run into any problems. It doesn't really stick to the insides of your mouth and become cloying like some of the port wines after a glass or 2 of that. I mean, you wouldn't want to drink too much of that anyway. But this is a very enjoyable wine. The price point is nice, and I really like it.
And let's talk about that, guys, the price point. I know people, who go buy wines, they like to sort of, stick their nose up, hey, I'm not paying for that, oh, no, nothing, just kind of give their sort of negative view of it. But if you look at the price point for this and the amount of wine that you get for the price, I mean, it's pretty good. Why there's such, sort of a lower view, as he says, he talked about in his story, making wine sort of affordable for everybody.
Well, I think
such the negativity, or not negative, but criticism of that, where.
well, I think just because it's a
Go ahead.
low price point, low end product, it's cheap, it's always on the bottom shelf. Probably because it's so heavy. If you put it on the top shelf, it make the shelf collapse. But and it's just a value price item, so people are gonna naturally say, "Oh, it's junk," you know. But I don't see a lot of people out there doing the blind taste tests.
No.
They're saying this, that, this, that. This is better than that. This is better than that. And I'm saying, well, how do you know that? Well, I just know. Have you done a blind taste test? Well, no. Oh, okay. I did a blind taste test this morning. And I got my behind burned. I felt played. I felt well played. And that just taught me a lesson. I was embarrassed. You know, I was embarrassed, and there were people watching, and I felt funny about it. But I made a little rant after that, and I said, well, I'm getting a little tired of these beer reviews that are all staged, like everything's so perfectly edited and hey YouTube, how's it going? And all this.
I don't do any of that.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay. I was like, how could you afford to do all this super editing? Maybe you're not really a beer reviewer. Maybe you actually work for a beer company, you know, and they're giving you the money to produce it. But the thing about it is like, and they'll say, this is better than that, this is better than that. And I'm like, well, where's the blind taste test? Because that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where the proof's in the pudding, as I see it. And these people claim that Carlo Rossi's trash. Well, get your expensive Chablis and put it up in a taste challenge, blind taste challenge, against Carlo Rossi Chablis, and let's see how it goes down. But I don't think you're going to see that happening.
What was the theme? You know, if you can taste the difference, why pay the difference, right?
If you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is there a big difference? There might be. But if there ain't, why are you paying more?
Exactly.
I did the King Robert II versus Cuddy Sock this morning. I was so ashamed. I'm still trying to shake that off. But I'll give you a quick assessment, okay?
All right.
And I mean quick. John, I'll let you talk in about an hour. And last week he was talking about the wine, and I said, yeah, but it's like grapes. And John said, I said grape pulp, and I was like, oh yeah. I felt embarrassed. But it's like you said, it's the pulp. It's like the white pulp of the grape and the grape skin. And if you're looking for like some complexity, I'm going to sit here and tell you about 50 different descriptors. Well, forget it. It just tastes like white grapes that were squeezed and the juice came out, and they left a little bit of the grape skin, and then they let it ferment, and it turned into wine, and they filtered it, and they put it in a bottle, and you bought it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go to the store and buy some white grapes and eat them, and you'll see it tastes just like this. What?
I was going to say sometimes simpler is better.
John, what's
you're right.
Your view of that in terms of the price point and the budget of a Carlo Rossi or the Carlo Rossi of the world? You know, what's your thought of it? Why does it get such a negative view?
I think it gets a lot of negativity just because it is cheap. It is value priced. A lot of restaurants buy the Carlo Rossi and the Livingston sells these big bottles and use it for cooking, and a lot of people know that, which makes them think like, oh, well, it's just for cooking. It's not good by itself. Well, that's not true. They make wine specifically for cooking, but a lot of places do use this type of stuff, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I would love to cook with this. I mean, it's a good wine for drinking, and I'm sure it's great for cooking as well. But and I think sometimes too, these big bottles like this kind of put off just a cheap vibe, and your wine connoisseurs and people that want all this fancy little bottles, I think they look at this stuff and it just has that that look to it that people are like, oh, well, that's just cheap garbage. But I mean, I couldn't disagree more. And honestly, you're getting a great value with the big bottle. But I just think there's a lot of snooty wine drinkers out there that want to drink their fancy, expensive wine, and they just frown on stuff like this for whatever reason. Same thing with macro beer. You have your craft beer people that slam macro beers just because they're made by these big companies, and that's just always the way it's going to be, unfortunately.
Well, my view of it has always been this was something that my mom and my dad would buy. As you see my videos of Carlo Rossi and Livingston wines and whatnot. And even I got a review of a Lake County Taylor Red coming up soon. So, but my thing is that these were wines that were served Sunday dinners. When we had family members come over, or cousins or whatnot, or it was just us, the immediate family. These were the sort of the wines that would be served.
Right. I think, but isn't it called Lake Country Red, or is it Lake
Country Red or Lake County Red? I believe it.
I don't think it's county. I think it's country.
Country. Okay. So,
but I could be wrong.
My bad. But also the red as well as the white.
Yeah.
The Manischewitz, which looking back now, I dread that wine. Dread it.
Sugar. Yeah.
But that
I love Manischewitz.
Was that
the best?
I love the Manischewitz wines. I mean, they're very sweet, but I love that stuff, especially like the Concord grape and the blackberry.
Yeah.
The best Manischewitz to get is the one that says kosher for Passover.
Right.
It's not the same, because kosher for Passover uses cane sugar, and the Manischewitz normally uses corn syrup. So if you get the kosher for Passover, you're going to get a much better product, but it won't be any more. The price will be the same. I just thought I'd mention that because that's something a lot of people overlook.
Yeah, but these wines were served Sunday dinners, and of course for the kids like myself, obviously they will pour some in our glass, and of course spike it with some Sprite or maybe something else to kind of make sure we didn't get too tipsy, but or some ginger ale. But these were the wines that were served, and looking back on it now, again, who could afford? And my mom and my dad. My mom was working as a nurse's aide. My dad was a driver. Before that, he was working at a steel plant, and they earned their money, and they want to be very cautious what they're spending. They love wine and beer and spirits. And when they went to go buy wine, they would buy this, the Rossi, and whether it be the Chablis or the Rhine or the Paisano or the Burgundy. These were the wines they would get all the time and serve from holidays, Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, Sunday dinners, whatever it was. These were the things that they would serve. And like I said, I've kind of distanced myself from it, even when I got older and would come by the house. And when I was staying in my little bungalow apartment up in Jersey, come over Sundays, they would buy this, and it would be something that hey, I would enjoy. And me personally, I can't see myself paying. The most I can see myself paying for a bottle of wine would be $15. Outside of that, I will not pay more than that. $17, $20, $30 for a bottle of wine. Hell no. I will not do that. 15 is my max right there. And
yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because we're drinking an E&J Gallo wine, and that company puts out really low end stuff like Night Train, which I've never even had the guts to try.
I think also in that profile.
Thunderbird.
Yeah,
I do believe so.
Okay.
And there's an extremely comical television commercial for Thunderbird from like 1961 with James Mason, famous actor, and he says, Thunderbird. He says, Thunderbird wine has a very unusual flavor, and I'm thinking to myself, I bet it does. Yeah. But I'm going to read some of the comments in a moment, if you don't mind, Jean.
Go ahead.
I think I was going to make a rant a little bit about people's perception of these wines, but it's a dangerous thing. But I don't care anymore. Okay, Gabe says, "Hi, I'm here. Good to see you live." Hey, Gabe, I'll add you back to Beer Talk 2018 if you promise not to post hamburger photos and stuff like that. All right. You can be back in Beer Talk 2018. Bart says, "Hey guys, I'm enjoying some Carlo Rossi Paisano as I view your chat. Cheers." Hey Bart, good to see you. I think the beer hangouts, the examinations are going to really improve over the next 12 months. You know what I mean? All right. Annette B says, "Hi, Jean and everyone." Hello, Annette B. And that's it so far. And you have 3 people watching, but I'm sure you'll have many more. And
millions will watch the playback of this video.
Eventually, it might be 2050, but all right. Now, but it will be millions. Now, Jean disappeared, but so I'm going to do a tap take. I'm going to take over the channel now. I'm going to co-opt the event. No, I was going to say, you know, he was asking about the perception of Carlo Rossi wine and things like that. And I think about this often, that I think there's racism involved in it, because a lot of people are really prejudiced. And if you look at the Carlo Rossi Facebook page or website, there's a lot of black people in there drinking the Carlo Rossi wines. And a lot of people, including white liberals who claim they love all races, they won't associate with it. And I've run across that for years, and people are real weird about that. And it bothers me, but I do things to sort of like disrupt everything. We were talking about this, Jean. You were talking about why people look down on Carlo Rossi. And I was saying, I think there's racism involved in it.
You know what
We've got,
I was going to say, maybe not so much racism thing, more of a like social status thing. Like people perceive this type of stuff to be bum juice, you know, like the poor man's drink.
That's part of it. That's part of it. But I still think there's a racism part of it. And I've had people tell me, you know, some of my enemies on
Facebook. Targeting what?
No, I think you just have different groups of people that tend to like different products, you know, and so, like, say Hennessy, Hennessy cognac, get on the Hennessy website, get on the Hennessy Facebook page, look at what they're showing, and look at who the people are in the ads, and you're going to get an idea of what's going on over there.
Black folks, mostly.
Yeah, and you got people that got a problem with that, including white liberals who claim they love every race, but yet they have no black friends, and they live in an all-white neighborhood, and they shop at Trader Joe's. And okay, now, and then people will accuse me, you're racist, based on political comments I made. But you know, I deal with this in my life. Like, I can tell you personal stories. I mean, I can prove it. Like, I go to basketball games at Southern University at Louisiana. I'm sorry, Southern University at New Orleans. Nobody will go to the games with me. They're like, "Oh, Southern. Oh, well, have fun, you know." And I'm like, I know why you won't go, you know. But now a friend of mine, Elwin, goes, but he's black, you know, so he'll go, and he's not uptight about it. But a lot of people are uptight about it, and you know, it just goes back hundreds of years. But they won't go, and it just goes on and on. Like I do very what do you call it? Eccentric things. Like I have Southern, you've seen my videos, Southern University polo sweatshirts and caps.
Shirts that you wear, your jackets that you wear, yeah, and that's okay.
And I've been to
people say the same thing. I wear my t-shirts backwards, as you can see right now.
And I've been to basketball games at Southern University and in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, and baseball games, and at Xavier University, Dillard University. These are all historically black colleges and universities. But I had people say bizarre things, you know, but they're from a different world, you know. Like my grandmother telling me, "Why are you wearing a Southern sweatshirt?" So I said, "It's cold." and a hat, a cap, a Southern sweatshirt and a cap, which I have. I can go put it on right now. And she said, she was looking at me like I'm crazy, you know. And she said, but I said, it's cold. It was in the wintertime. She said, well, why don't you go take that off? Now, I mean, you know, it's like, all right. And I think that mentality carries over to these kind of beverages. Now, the companies, they're going to target who's going to buy the product, okay?
You look at your market. Always look at your market, what's going on.
Yeah, if they said, oh, well, we did market research and 95% of our customers are Hispanic, well, ding, 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 ding. All of a sudden, every ad you see would have what we would call Hispanic people in the ad, and it would be themed that way. I mean, it's only, you have to have some brains involved in this. They're going to target who they think's going to buy the product. But Hennessy,
Corona,
thank you.
Tecate.
But look at the Hennessy Facebook page. Look at the Courvoisier Facebook page. And look at the Carlo Rossi Facebook page and Livingston Cellars, and you will find out what I'm talking about. Now, people are uncomfortable talking about it because they think they'll be accused of various things. But you and I don't feel uncomfortable talking to you, Jean, because you and I have interacted for years now. We've actually met each other in person in Mobile and in New Orleans and interacted. So we know where we're at, where you and I are coming from. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, have y'all noticed?
Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw in real quick. Have y'all noticed that Sprite is now marketing primarily to African Americans?
No, I haven't noticed that.
It's kind of funny because Sprite. I was actually watching. It was a YouTube video, but it was like a Saturday Night Live skit, and they were like, "Man, when did Sprite become the black soda?" but you know, they got like LeBron James is like their main guy doing the commercials now, and then they had this other guy, Chance the Rapper, that did some commercials, and they're always playing like these little hip hop songs in the background. I just thought it was interesting because white people love Sprite. I thought that Sprite was more, you know, it was purchased more by white people. I didn't realize it was like a big, you know, soda that a lot of African American people, you know, I mean, but that's like their primary market right now. That's what their market is. You look at one Sprite commercial now, and you could tell that's where they're going with it, which is fine.
You got to chase the dollar, and it's really strange. And oh, here's another one. The Seagram's Gin. If you get on Seagram's Gin website and their Facebook page, you can pretty much very quickly figure out what's happening here. And I went to that's another funny story. I was in Kenner, Louisiana, South Kenner. You heard me? So I was in Kenner, Louisiana, and I went in this convenience store called Pelican. It used to be called Brothers, but I went in there and I wanted to look at their beer selection because you can find some really peculiar items in these little off-the-wall stores. So I went in there and I was getting ready to go to I was going to church, I think. So I went in there and this is not a highbrow convenience store, but on the other hand, it's not super scary either. It's like mid-range. So I went in there and there's this booth set up when you walk in, and there's this lady dressed nice, this black girl, maybe 22, 23, dressed very nice. And she's got this Seagram's Gin display set up. And I was like shocked. I was like, never went in a convenience store where they had a tasting. And she says, "Oh, hello, good afternoon. Would you like to taste Seagram's Gin?" And I said, "Well, sure." So she's got the regular Seagram's Gin, and now we have the flavored ones. And she's like prepared, you know, she's kind of practiced. And I said, okay. And I thought, well, that's really interesting. You know, the company did market research and they figured out where is this gin popular. And so that's where they did the tasting. So I was so happy about it. And then this guy comes in, he's like, probably like the neighborhood drunk, you know. And she's like, "Sir, would you like to try some Seagram's Gin?" He says, "You know what? I think I will." So he drinks some. He's like Ned the Wino, you know, on Good Times. And then he says, "As a matter of fact, I think I'll try all of them. And I just thought that was so. Yeah, it was so funny. I wish I'd have been recording that. As a matter of fact, I try all of them. And the girl was like, "Okay, sir, you can try them all." I was like, "Wow, I just can't get over this." You know, it was like really exciting, you know, in a way. But I don't do a lot of market research, of course, but I do notice things.
Right.
And I'm not.
And getting back to what John said about the Sprite thing, I think they notice within, particularly in the black community and in the minority communities, obesity is so high, and they look at sodas like Sprite and other things like that, and they think, okay, it's ginger ale versus compared to flavored soda and things like that. Maybe that's the reason why they're doing all these advertising, because you look at the sugar, and I put a post recently today on Facebook. I don't know if y'all saw it. The amount of sugar of some of these sodas right now, and it is just extremely high, and why particularly minority communities, no matter what demographic it is, why we're so obese because of the amount of sugar. Maybe that's the reason why they're promoting it instead of promoting Coke or Pepsi. Remember back in the days, if you watch Soul Train or any of these shows like that, they would promote those sodas, the Coca-Cola and the Pepsis. Now you very rarely see that, but they're promoting Sprites because I guess
And
like
it's not
sugar
sugar.
it is,
It's
it's a little more better for you, I guess.
no, and it's not sugar now. It's not sugar now. I can't stay on here much longer due to football related issues.
Yes,
But it's not sugar.
We're going to wrap this up real quickly. Yes.
Yeah, it's not sugar now. It's high fructose corn syrup, which to me seems to have a really addictive thing going on with people. And they drink this soda all day long, these soft drinks with high fructose corn syrup. Syrup, however you say it. So they're drinking a Coca-Cola, Sprite, Pepsi, whatever you want to, and all of that Hawaiian punch. They let their kids drink Hawaiian punch all day and cool it, and it's got high fructose corn syrup. And then you see people walking around that are morbidly obese, like I saw today at Walmart, and it's just devastating. It's like, how can these people have any kind of quality of life? And they're poisoning their bodies with all these chemicals. And it goes right along with what you're saying. It's not even sugar now. It's this concocted high fructose corn syrup, which is government subsidized, I might add.
Yeah. So, as Jay mentioned, there is a big football game tonight, which I'm sure is going to do amazingly ratings wise because a lot of playoff implications for both teams, and we all know the Cow Kids are. That's my nickname for the Cowboys, but the Cow Kids are very popular. But anyway,
very
so
dangerous.
Let's make this a quick view of it, guys. Would you bring this to a dinner party? You've been invited to a party or a dinner or someplace like that. Would you bring this wine, whether it be the Chablis, the Paisano, White Zinfandel, Rhine, what other wines?
Okay, well, no, I would not.
Would you bring these sort of wines to a dinner party?
I would not bring the not Chablis, Chablis.
Chablis, excuse me. Sorry.
No M in the word. I would not bring the Chablis to a dinner party, but if you wanted to look respectable, you might be aware that I was talking about the night train and all that, and the Thunderbird. E&J makes some expensive wines too. You can get some E&J reserve wines that are about $35 to $40 a bottle. So if you really wanted to, like be decent about it, just go spend the damn $35 and bring some Gallo Reserve to the party, and people would probably love it, and don't show up to a nice dinner party with a big jug of Carlo Rossi Chablis. Save that for the tailgate party, right? The pregame party at University of Georgia versus Troy University. Something like that, right? Am I right? Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, I mean, if you were gonna bring some Carlo Rossi, buy the smaller bottle so you don't look like a weirdo walking in there with that huge jug. But yeah, I mean, I would probably, you know, if you go to a lot of dinner parties and you have friends like us that don't really care about the status of things, I mean, this is a good wine, so I would say okay. It just depends on if it's like a dress up dinner party, a really nice, like, you know, button up shirt tie type event. Maybe go with something a little bit better, or at least
Gallo Reserve.
yeah. I mean, but something that and obviously something in a little bit nicer, you know, normal bottle.
I don't know if you've ever seen the Gallo Reserve, but it's a very, very nice bottle.
I don't think so. No.
And it's about $35–40 a bottle. They sell
Well,
it.
You know what I would bring to a dinner party would be some port. Well, I could buy the Fladgate, the Taylor Fladgate, or the Porto Bin. Those are less than $20 a bottle. They're actual port wines from Portugal. They look really fancy and they're pretty good.
Sandeman, or you could bring Hartley. The what's that one? It's the it's this cream sherry, the famous one. The it's the best one too, by the way. The it's called not Hartley. It's not Hartley. It's famous. It's owned by an English company, but it's made in Spain. It's always been made in Spain. It's you could show up with that. That would be a good one. That's about $16 a bottle.
Harvey's Bristol Cream Sherry.
Yeah. Bristol Cream. It always makes me think of a brush. Like a.
And that's a fancy label too. That's a nice looking bottle.
Yeah, Harvey's Bristol Cream. Believe me, if you drink that, it blows all the cream sherries out the water. It destroys them. I can guarantee you that. I'll back that up. I'm not saying it's a personal opinion. It's a fact. That's the kind of thing where I won't even compromise. Harvey's Bristol Cream destroys all the rest. And the rest are good. Taylor Cream Sherry, Fairbanks Cream Sherry. What's the one?
Manischewitz makes a cream sherry too.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. But the Fairbanks, Sheffield Cream Sherry, and Fairbanks and Taylor, they're very nice, the American, but the Harvey's Bristol Cream destroys them. But I mean, you're paying twice the money. Now, if
you know, the Taylor and the Kribari are more along the lines of what we're drinking now. They're more, you know, so you might want to go with the Harveys or, you know, something a little bit more well perceived.
Yeah. Now, if you were going to a party at somebody's house and they were going to have Doritos and they're going to watch the Saints and the Cowboys and eat chili dogs and stuff, well, yeah, bring the Carlo Rossi Chablis in the big jug because that's the setting for it, right?
Right. Football games, tailgating, like you said, perfect occasions for cheap beer and wine like this. Suit and tie type events, go with the other stuff. Yeah.
Right. Just you got to have some discernment, you know. But anyway, Jean is gone. So now for the next 15
we're taking over his channel.
Yeah, we're gonna say extremely inappropriate things, and no, we're not. But well, I'm glad he invited us.
Yeah, me too. You got the comments pulled up? You want to see if there's any more comments?
Oh, yeah. Let's look at that before I get off of this, and then the next one coming up is the Carlo Rossi White Zinfandel. So get ready for that. That's a controversial one because my neighbor across the street said White Zinfandel is wine for people that don't know how to drink wine. I said, whoa. Isn't White Zinfandel
like a light pink color?
Yeah, it's the most popular wine style in America, I believe. And she said crazy things like, well, I go out to eat with my lady friends. You know, they're all in their 70s, whatever. And she orders some great wine, you know. And she says, and then they ask for White Zinfandel, and I try to cover my face. I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like, wow, that's an insane way to look at things. Like you're embarrassed because what your friends want to order. Like, let them drink what they want. Right. Like, all right. But White Zinfandel is the whipping horse of the wine world. All right. Because people like it, you know what I mean? All right. Gabe says, okay.
It's just seems every single time I'm doing one of these things, it's like, so final.
Because you are wait, because you are popular. I was reading the comments, y'all.
Go ahead.
You want me to finish reading them?
Go ahead.
All right. Gabe says, okay, I'll behave. That is your link for your channel, Jay and John. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, I'll add you back to Beer Talk 2018 tomorrow morning when I wake up. And then as long as we don't see pictures of crazy hamburgers and all that, you can be in the talk. All right. Tyler says, clinking the champagne glasses. I guess that means cheers. Cheers to you, Tyler. Mansell, thanks for watching. I wish you would get a winter beer and join us tomorrow night at 4 o'clock Pacific for winter beers. Gabe says, this is Jean's live show, but you, Jay, are making it your own show. That's true. I have taken over. Gabe says, Stella Rose, Black, I love. And Alex, the beer master, said, what's up, Ron? Nothing. I'm about to go watch the Saints game. Okay, Jean, I'm turning it back over to you.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, guys. It's I don't know. I just can't seem to get a break. Anyway, like I said, Carlo Rossi, to me, if I'm going to a picnic or some concert, you know, I'll make sure I'll have this jug bottle. But certain places you can't bring glass, so I'll try to pour this into a milk jug or something like that, and bring with me, whether it be the Chablis, or the Paisano, or the Burgundy, whatever it is, or even now I've been drinking a lot of these sort of very sweet sort of wines, sweeter wines, reds that you can pair with anything, whether it be Chinese food, pizza, burgers, grilled chicken, whatever it is. You know, I would pair those wines with that, and you know, just have a good time. And I feel, and you saw my poll that I put out there on Beer Talk, that you can, you know, what is a better value. And again, folks, those who've been watching my channel, I will go back to doing beer reviews. Believe me, I will. But lately, I'm just been, I don't know, just been on a wine kick for the last couple of months. So, but in any event, I don't see anything negative about this. It's a great value. You know, you could bring this, pour it around. You know, like I said, as they say, hang out with friends. Good company, you know, eating, talking, socializing. It is a perfect wine to have. All of their wines, in my opinion. Same with Livingston. Same with Liberty Creek wines, which is sold off part of the E&J Gallo family of wines. There's nothing off or bad about it whatsoever. And I buy this quite a bit. Not the whites, but more so the, you know,
the reds.
And the
hey, but Jean, if you came to visit me at my house, I would drink Carlo Rossi with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Just a good wine hanging out, you know, maybe during Mardi Gras, you know, be perfect. You know, this is a great one to have in Mardi Gras.
But what did we drink when you came to New Orleans?
What did you say, partner?
What did you and I drink when you came to New Orleans, though?
Hey, that'd be awesome. And
no, I'm saying, what did you and I drink the last time?
We had some Yingling, yes.
And then we drank Mickey's.
Mickey's too. We had Mickey's was John Sharon, but I think we did have some Mickey's. Also, we did have some Steel Reserve, the 6%, which I was able to buy.
Oh, right.
Were y'all walking around Bourbon Street with your 40 Reserve? Is that what was going on?
No, it wasn't bottles. It was cans.
That's why they got the 42-ounce plastic bottles now for all the drunk people that walk around New Orleans and drop them in the middle of the street.
We were there for a lot of hours, weren't we, Jean?
Yep. I mean, it was a great time. Of course, we missed the brothel, so.
Yeah, we didn't go to a brothel, folks, but thank God. But we went to then in Mobile. We spent all day over there looking around everything.
Yeah, that bar, John. I watched that video. I think it was either on your channel or Jay's channel, where y'all went to some bar that had like over 100 beers on draft.
Yeah, a load of beer garden. Yes.
That was fun.
Yes, it
But
was.
we didn't want to pay a lot, so we found the cheapest one they had, and we drank that.
Yeah, Stella Artois, which was really good. So, all
It
right.
really was, actually.
Yep. So we're about 9 minutes away from the game. So anyway, final thoughts. Carlo Rossi, Cham- Chablis.
Chablis.
What are your thoughts on this, gentleman? Starting with John. What are your thoughts on this wine?
I think it's a great, great budget wine, great bang for your buck. You could buy a 4-liter bottle for, $15 or cheaper. I would highly recommend it if you like semi-sweet wines with a lot of like nice white grape flavor. This would be one to go for. And any dinner party that if I ever host a dinner party and people bring this, I would be pleased with it. I think the quality is good. I think the perception just needs to change with some of these people. Some of these, I call them, I don't know. You have your beer snobs, you have your snooty wine people too. And I think the perception needs to change because this is an excellent product. I mean, I would give it an A for a budget wine like this. I think it's an excellent product, and I give it 2 thumbs up. I would highly recommend it.
All right, Jay, your thoughts.
Well, I feel the same way about it. Now, when you first open the bottle, you'll get some little peculiar aromas, and I talked about roof and tar and all that. But that goes away. Like after you drink it and you keep drinking it, and I've been drinking it, and I've been drinking it, I've been drinking it. That goes away, and then all you get is the grape pulp and the grape skin, and it tastes really good. So I would give it 2 thumbs up as well. And I would recommend other things also, like the Taylor Lake Country Red and the White. And another good one, these are from New York now. Another good New York choice is the Paul Masson. There's a bunch of good Paul Masson big jug wines, but then John and Neely was like, well, I can't find them. I never see those things. And I don't think Jean-Pierre could find them either.
Nope, couldn't.
Yeah, I really can't even find any of the Christian Brothers stuff here, which I really want to try some of the Christian Brothers wines because I love the brandy. So.
You mean like the Christian Brothers cream sherry and the dry sherry?
Yes, exactly. That you were lording over me and bragging about how good they were, and I can't get them.
Yeah, they were really good. If I ever go back to Georgia, I'll bring you 2 bottles. I'll bring you the dry and the cream, or maybe I'll bring you a big jug bottle of the Paul Masson.
Hey, that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, Jean, that was a great hangout.
Yeah.
It went so well.
Interactions, folks, is just that, it is what it is. But anyway.
Well, I mean, you don't live in an isolation chamber on some planet.
Yes. So those of you who've watched tonight, thank you. Enjoying the Carlo Rossi Chablis. Sorry.
Chablis. No M. No M. No M. There's no M.
Quite a few of that anyway. Thank you all for watching Jean Henderson Pierre, the Beer Ramble, Wine Ramble. Keep on watching always. Cheers. Thank you for watching tonight's broadcast. We will see you again. Smile.